Welcome to Manchester. The Royal Rota is on the road this week, and we're here. You might recognise bits of the thing. If you live in the UK and you watch Coronation Street, you will definitely recognise what's behind us. We're in Manchester at Media City UK because it's where... Who came today?
Her Majesty.
The Queen.
Queen of the cobbles.
The Queen of the soap. No, the Queen of the Rovers.
Queen on the cobbles.
Queen on the cobbles.
Queen on the cobbles.
So many script lines that we've got to work out later. But that's why we are here. That's why the Royal Rota is coming to you, not from the studio, but from Media City UK in Manchester. So welcome. This is your podcast of royal news, your weekly podcast that you can get on YouTube or your favourite podcast platform, of course. And actually, we've had quite a nice day here, haven't we?
This is quite exciting, isn't it? Recording the podcast by the set of Coronation Street.
Now, I wonder whether...
That's a first for the Royal Rota.
For anyone who's watching this who doesn't live in the UK, who might not know what Coronation Street is, people in America might say, what on earth are you talking about?
It's a long-running soap opera. It runs how many nights a week?
Since 6 nights a week.
6 nights a week since 1960.
Yep,
And
so that's 61 years,
and
pretty
you're
much.
supposed to feel... Someone described it to us as feeling like this was sort of a family joining your sitting room, wasn't it? That
Yes.
they were sort of an extension of your family,
Yes.
and you were looking onto somebody else's
you
window
know,
into another world.
A soap opera which gets about sort of 8 million viewers every time it goes out on the telly box. So this is why we're here, and the Queen was here. So before we get into the detail of what happened here and who we spoke to and all the rest of it, Lizzie's going to do the Royal Rundown, the Robinsons Royal Rundown of the week, which involves Queen, which involves a bit of football, involves a bit of NHS. I mean, it's been quite a good week.
It has been a good week, but I don't have a very long list, I'm afraid. So Monday this week was the NHS's 73rd birthday, so all the royals celebrated that in their various ways. And on Monday, we also found out that the Duchess of Cambridge was isolating because she had come into contact with somebody that had tested positive for COVID-19. The football this week, a big week for England, an exciting night last night, and Prince William, in his role as president of the FA, was supporting England again, and the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall had some very special guests into the gardens of Clarence House.
Musical ones, yes.
And as you say, the Queen has been in Manchester today.
So I think we should probably start here, shouldn't we? On the set of Coronation Street. Now, the most amazing thing about this set, have a look at these pictures of the Queen arriving here, is actually, so it's a fictional street in a place called Weatherfield, which is a fictional bit of Manchester, is that this is all quite new where we are, and they relocated the whole thing here a few years ago, and they literally had to pick up all the cobbles and and rebuild exactly the same street in an entirely different part of town.
But she had walked down the original cobbles once before. In 1982, she visited the old set before it moved here to Media City, I think in 2013.
One of the cast members was telling me today that when the Duke of Edinburgh came that day, he was actually poking through the letterboxes, having a little peek to see whether people actually lived inside the houses. Yeah. And as you can probably tell, this is just a frontage, really. There's not a back to them, and there's a whole studio where they go and do all those kind of things.
One of our favourite bits was the Rovers Return, which is the famous pub on the cobbles. The exterior of the pub is in one place on the sort of main street of the set, and then the interior is in a whole different part in a studio.
Yeah, and do you know the Rovers Return's got a new landlord?
I did.
Yeah.
I think I told you that over breakfast.
No, it's me.
Oh, it's you, it's you.
If you look at my Twitter, or we'll show you the picture now, this is me standing inside the Rovers Return with a new job. I've decided to quit this royal reporting malarkey and start operating as a pub landlord. Anyway, so why was the Queen here?
She was here to, firstly, I mean, they celebrated their, what was it, anniversary?
60th, so 1960 to 2020.
60th anniversary, end of last year, but she was also here to hear how they sort of managed to keep operating during the pandemic, which is astonishing, really, that they have kept on our screens throughout the pandemic.
They're actually saying that they still have to do all the social... They were telling this to the Queen, actually. They still act in a socially distant way. They do the rehearsals with their face masks on, and they only take off the mask when they actually start pressing record, which is, you know, quite remarkable in itself. And a lot of the actors and actresses were saying that it's pretty tough, isn't it?
Really tough, but you can imagine that, can't you? Because you can't see people's facial expressions. It's quite hard to bounce off people if they've got masks on. So, yeah, they've all said to us how challenging it had been, but they said today had been a real lift, and you could feel the atmosphere here was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes we say with royal visits, you know, like, oh, everyone has got a bit of a buzz afterwards, which is true, but there was something about this here today, that the fact that they've, you know, kept filming. Things have been quite tough for them. I mean, actually, the whole, being an actor in this pandemic is a really difficult time. And the Queen coming today was the first time that everyone's been back on the sets together, filming at the same time. And it kind of gave everything a real lift. The fact that she was here and that everyone was here and everyone was sort of filming at the same time. Have a little listen. I spoke to Rita. Is Rita, who's been on the soap for so many years. I think
she's
the 57, second longest serving. And anyone who watches the soap knows that Rita runs the cabin. And then also, we spoke to the actor Bill Roach, who plays Ken Barlow in the soap, and he's been in it since the very first episode. In December 1960. So we had a chat with those two about their little meeting with the Queen today, because they were the first people that the Queen met outside the Rovers Return when she arrived. What was today like and what did it mean to you?
Well, she's an amazing woman in that she's always smiling, she's always ready for a laugh, she's absolutely charming and she listens.
Yes.
I suppose that with her job that's what they need to do. And I've been lucky to meet her on quite a few occasions, and she loves to be made to laugh. So, and there it was, she was twinkling her way through it, a very charming person.
This is the first time since this started in, was it 20, where am I? Whatever, that we've all been allowed to meet and actually sort of touch. We've been in masks, rehearsing and everything, and it was like we were let out into sunshine. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was really, a great
she
relief.
appreciated that sort of thing, that we were good. Wonderful to see her,
Everyone wants to know whether the Queen watches Coronation Street. What do we think?
Well, they make a point of not saying. I know that Princess Diana did, her butler told me, the Queen Mother did,
yes.
But with the royalty, I remember Prince Philip came down and we asked him the question and they won't answer. They have a policy of not saying what their favourite programme is.
So that was Barbara Knox and Bill Roach, and it was amazing because the Queen came and she was being told about the cobbles, and as we told you about the moving of the whole set, and she was kind of saying it was quite remarkable what they've managed to do.
Remarkable that it's continued for so long. You could hear her when she arrived. She met some. When she got out of the car, she was saying, it's remarkable. And she was given one of the original cobbles.
Welcome to Coronation Street, our cobbles, which I think you've seen before, but in a different site. In a
different place.
Different place, yes, it was. But the same cobbles.
Are they?
we moved them all. We dug them up and moved them. So these are the genuine cobbles.
And then she met her way down the street. Now, if you're a watcher of Coronation Street, you'll know, a lot of the people that she spoke to. You'll recognise a lot of the actors and actresses. It's actually quite a big cast list. We looked at the cast list earlier. It's like 40, 45, actors and actresses that work on it. And the other couple of people that we caught up with was in the soap. They played mother and daughter, so it's Audrey and Gail, and they were talking about what they thought about the Queen's visit. Again, we were outside the Rovers Return.
I feel very pleased and proud to have been here today, and she was delightful. She listened to us, she spoke to us,
we bored her to death with the anecdotes, but she was so lovely.
And then she went somewhere else.
Yeah. But and also because the show has been going for 60 years, so it was a wonderful celebration for that as well, to have somebody like this wonderful Queen coming and helping us do that.
And you have to admire someone who's been dedicated to her job all her life.
Everyone wants to know, does the Queen watch Coronation Street? We're trying to work that one out.
We didn't dare
ask. And as you probably heard me ask quite a few people, does the Queen watch Coronation Street? Big question.
The big question of the day. We're still none the wiser.
No, exactly. It's kind of like, does the Queen watch the football last night? The England, you might know we were in Manchester when England won their semi-final yesterday, and we don't know whether the Queen watched the football either. But
but we do know the Queen. The Queen definitely is across everything, and she will be. Even if she didn't watch it, she will be well aware of what's happened.
Well, her dresser Angela Kelly, who is here today, is a massive fan of Coronation Street, so everyone here is assured that she keeps the Queen up to date. And actually, talking of dressing, come and have a look at what our cameraman is currently wearing. Chris, come here a sec. So this is the man behind the camera, and if you look on the picture that I just put on Twitter, you won't recognise this guy because he's never worn a suit before, or just very rarely wear a suit.
Very well, only when I'm with you.
Right, okay. And the Queen.
Or the Queen.
Same. So Chris is now back in his
Usual attire.
Usual attire,
Yeah.
which is what cameramen wear. But obviously, when the Queen comes, one has to be properly attired. Yes.
Well, I thought, I don't know if you've mentioned this. I found it interesting today. We get to these things early, and everyone's having a laugh. People are enjoying being around each other because there's a definite feeling of the cast having not seen each other. And then as the time gets closer, it shows that no one, everyone suffers it. Everyone gets the nerves. You could see.
Yeah.
The 5-minute countdown came, and everyone kind of stood to attention.
Even people who appear on
Even people
TV,
are on TV
6
all the
nights a
time.
week. Yeah.
And then suddenly she comes onto the cobbles, well, not on the cobbles, but safely onto the pavement. And everyone was like good schoolboys and schoolgirls.
Yeah.
And it was
all behaving themselves. Yeah,
and it was
exactly.
the amazing power.
Yeah.
And it just shows that everyone is susceptible to it.
I'll tell you
nice.
what you could do now. Why don't you go back behind that and show us some of the sets in case you
through?
can't see it? No, actually, just show us like the back of the set.
Okay.
Or you know, are we allowed through? Do you think we'd be allowed through?
We could do a little.
Should we? Yeah. Let's have a little look around the corner. So come
Okay.
with us. So this is the Co-op. But if you
What we like most about the Co-op is we checked out the food and we think it's all fake in here.
can't get in, of course. There's Costa Coffee. This is
The
the
Weatherfield North Station.
tram stop, Weatherfield North, and then kind of look down the street a bit. So actually from here, I mean, look at this building here, all looks pretty amazing and all the rest of it. And then if you sort of walk with Chris this way, you can see actually, well, you know, it's quite thin. Or look at the structure behind the Co-op over here. See what I mean? So we work in TV, but we were quite interested in that, as I'm sure the Queen was today as well. So
One of my favourite moments was when the Queen moved from the cobbled area to the studio where the Rovers Return is, and they played the music, the Coronation Street music. So we should definitely have a listen to that.
You probably heard Chris mention this just now, but obviously the cobbles, which is sort of a famous part of the street, and this is just at one end of it. It says Victoria Street over there. Do you think that's another part of the set? Must be.
Must be.
Anyway, the Queen didn't walk on said cobbles because clearly 95 years of age, it does make for a rather uneven journey down the street. So she definitely stuck to the pavement, or if you're watching this in the US, the sidewalk, of course. But yeah, no, I think all in all, she went into the Rovers Return, which is again inside the studio. Actually, what was the chat in there? Chris, you were in there. What was the chat in the Rovers Return? It's about how they were filming and stuff, wasn't it? Yeah.
She was very interested in how they could create a real pub atmosphere during COVID, and about how they're all looking forward to Christmas because they think it'll be the first full Rovers Return, and they're going to fill it and fill it and fill it when we're all allowed to.
Christmas at the Rovers Return, you see? That's why you need a cameraman in there. Obviously, because of COVID restrictions, we had to stay outside for that particular bit when the Queen went inside to meet the other members of staff. But I thought there was a real kind of lift about today. Everyone seemed really kind of uplifted by the whole thing, didn't they?
Real buzz. Everyone was genuinely really excited, and, you know, sort of, even afterwards you could feel when she departed, everyone was sort of, you know, really excited, applauding the fact that she'd been here. So yeah, a good day for Coronation Street.
Now, of course, the visit here happened the day after there was a rather important match at Wembley where England just about beats Denmark 2-1 yesterday after extra time, no penalties, thank the Lord. I'm not sure how we as a nation would have coped with that. And we've still got the final on Sunday to go, but we were in Manchester last night when there were some celebrations, so have a look on our social media and you can see what the atmosphere was like. Still don't know, by the way, whether the Queen watched the football last night. She certainly didn't mention it here
Her
today.
grandson certainly did, though, didn't he?
Yes, so we told you last week how Prince George, when did Prince George go? He went to the the Germany match or the Ukraine match? I can't
the
remember
Germany
now.
match, because he was dubbed the sort of lucky mascot of helping us
And we showed you the
Germany.
Prince George picture. So here's Prince William at the Wembley Stadium on Wednesday for a rather more stressful match, I have to say.
Much more stressful,
Yeah.
yes. I think lots of people were hoping our lucky mascot might come back and watch.
Yeah, but there was definitely some relief in Manchester last night when it happened. So Prince William was there. Kate's been at she was at Wimbledon, as we told you in last week's podcast. She was meant to be there this week, or she might have gone this week. But
I think we could have expected to have seen her at some point
She certainly
week.
did have other engagements on Monday, which was to do with the NHS birthday,
did.
but couldn't go because
she is self-isolating because she came into contact with somebody who subsequently tested positive for COVID-19. So she isn't experiencing any symptoms, but she is following all guidelines and self-isolating at home.
A lot of chat on Twitter last night about, hold on a minute, why was William going to the football when Kate's having to isolate? And I think it's worth pointing out the rules are that only the person who's come into contact has to do the self-isolating, not other people in their household.
That's right. And
it's like one of your kids might have to stay off school, but the others can still go if they're not in that bubble.
Yes, so it's the person that's had direct contact that has to isolate, which is why the Duchess does, but not the Duke. No. She was alerted last Friday afternoon, and then she began isolating. But Friday was when she had been at Wimbledon.
Yes.
So she was seen on the outer courts with
sitting next to Tim Henman,
and then she'd been into the kitchens to see some of the work that they've been doing, distributing hot meals during the pandemic to kind of the local community. And then she was serving up strawberry dessert.
Serving up. Very
I'll get
good.
my coat.
Very good. You could write the script. Even Chris like that. He just went behind the camera. Nice.
Yeah. And then she was seen on centre court, and it was a big afternoon for the Brits. Dan Evans, the number one, was up on court. Andy Murray was due to play later in the afternoon, and she left. So there was some question mark over had she been alerted when she was at Wimbledon.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yes, but we didn't do her visit on Friday. We didn't do it last week's podcast. That's
new. That's new.
Okay, fine.
That's new.
Right. So what? In other words, you missed quite a bit on Monday then, because on Monday there was a celebration of the birthday of the NHS. The NHS is 73 years old.
73 years old. Yes.
I was getting confused with my numbers there, but it's exactly the same years of marriage.
60th anniversary.
60th anniversary. Queen's been on the throne for 69 years.
Yeah.
Her and Prince Philip were married for 73 years, which means that's 1947, which means the NHS must have been born in 1948. Bosh. 5th of July 1948, the NHS was born, and the National Health Service, again, if you're watching this outside the UK, you know it's the health service which is free at point of delivery in the UK, and it was having its birthday after what most people will agree has been a pretty tough year, COVID and all the rest of it. So they got a few people out and about to thank the NHS staff. William and Kate were meant to go, turned out just William, because Kate's isolating.
Just William.
Yeah.
The book.
Just William. Yeah, God. You're full of them today, aren't you?
Full of them.
So it was just William. He turned up at St Paul's. So if you look at these pictures at St Paul's Cathedral, it was very sort of socially distant. People were inside. The Prime Minister was there. Prince William was there. I saw other people, leader of the opposition, and then a bunch of people who work for the NHS, and you were there as well, and you spoke to the woman, and actually, when you think about it, this is quite amazing. She is the nurse who gave the very, very first COVID vaccine in the world.
Yeah, so
May Parsons.
The service of Thanksgiving, Monday morning at St Paul's Cathedral, and they were all under the very impressive, beautiful dome for the service. And
so Christopher Wren's dome.
That very one. And after the service, I spoke to May Parsons, who, as you say, gave the first ever dose of the Pfizer vaccine. And she was telling me, you know, she was talking about the year and how challenging it's been for all of them, but also how grateful they all were to have been recognised by the royal family.
And before you hear from May Parsons, we should tell you that the NHS as an organisation has been awarded the George Cross. Now, the George Cross was invented, launched by the Queen's father, King George VI, in 1940 to honour gallantry not in the face of an enemy. So in other words, it's not dissimilar to the Victoria Cross, which more people have heard of, but the George Cross is awarded for that kind of acts of heroism not in the face of the enemy. Previously been awarded to two other organisations, Malta, the country, for what it did in the Second World War. It's been awarded to the Royal Ulster Constabulary, the former police force in Northern Ireland, because of the many years of service that they were under threat from the IRA in Northern Ireland. And now it's been awarded to the NHS, the George Cross, and that was announced on the morning of the NHS's 73rd birthday.
It is a really, really emotional and such a meaningful day, not just for myself, but obviously for the whole of NHS. I think for the Queen giving the George Cross, that was a really brilliant, amazing news this morning for me to hear. And, you know, for all those people that we've lost, for those people that are still struggling at work, you know, digging deeper, coming in, showing up every day to do the caring. I think it's just appropriate, and I'm so grateful that the Queen has graced us with that such reward. yeah, it's still, I still can't kind of process it that everyone in the NHS has got the George Cross. But, you know, in the beginning of the pandemic, I did say it felt like going to war.
So a very significant award for the NHS, and with that came a handwritten letter from the Queen saying that the award was on behalf of a grateful nation, and that you have supported the people of our country with courage, compassion and dedication, demonstrating the highest standards of public service. And I think after the year we've had, we could all agree with that.
Yeah, we were running some pictures, weren't we, of actually another Queen, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who went and visited one of those hospital wards in 1948. And was looking at the new equipment, which obviously now wouldn't feel very new. Roughly 73 years old, and no one wants to be treated with equipment that's 73 years old. But anyway, that was quite interesting. Prince William had a tea party, didn't he, at Buckingham Palace? So, you know, there was a lot of chat, and you were talking to a lot of the people at St Paul's about whether or not the NHS staff should be awarded with a 1% pay rise or not, and, you know, that's quite a controversial matter here. That's a question for the politicians, but the royals did what royals do and put on a tea party.
To say thank you, and yeah, Prince William, he was supposed to be joined by Kate, but she was obviously isolating, so he hosted it on his own in the gardens of Buckingham Palace, just to thank people that had gone above and beyond from the NHS during the pandemic.
Now, we were talking earlier about the football, and we haven't actually showed you the anthem.
These are great.
These are
great pictures.
So, set the scene. Clarence House, that's where Prince Charles and Camilla live, in the gardens in the front, the very nice gardens. We've been there, haven't we? And the band of the Coldstream Guards was in there. Now, there are two kind of anthems for this Euro 2020 summer. One is...
Three Lions,
Three
as
Lions.
always.
Football's coming home.
I won't sing, I promise.
And the second is?
Sweet Caroline.
Right, OK, so when you have a little listen, I mean, at first you think, this is weird, but actually it's the anthem of the summer. People last night after the football were singing Sweet Caroline, and also, clearly, as we experienced in Manchester City Centre ourselves last night, the Three Lions. This is the Coldstream Guards' rendition of those two songs in the garden of Clarence House. So we're on a musical theme. Why don't we tell you about what Prince Charles says gave him, to quote, an irresistible urge to get up and dance. Now, when did he say this?
So Prince Charles, to thank the NHS, he, on Sunday, on hospital radio, they aired, Prince Charles revealed his 13 of his most favourite songs.
Kind of like a Desert Island Disc with Prince Charles
like
on
Desert
hospital
Island
radio.
Disc, yeah.
Yes, one of which, the song, in case you didn't know, the song that makes him get up and dance is Giving Up, Giving In by the 3 Degrees, but also in his list of things that he likes to dance to, or his favourite music, or I suppose if he was ever stranded on a desert island, there was Diana Ross and Edith Piaf, which, you know, I think they're quite good selections.
And if you want to check out those selections, he has his first Spotify playlist. So all 13 songs are on there, and
who doesn't have a Spotify playlist? Yes, exactly.
Now the Prince of Wales does.
The Prince of Wales has a Spotify playlist. So yeah, it's been an interesting week, really. The Queen's also, while we're in Manchester, let's tell you that she went to Manchester Cathedral as well, didn't she? It was part of her visit to this part of the world.
Yeah, and this is all part of them getting out and thanking people that have been helping during the pandemic. So she's been at Manchester Cathedral as well as the set of Corrie today.
And then back on the Royal Train. Well, that's how she came up here. So I'm presuming that's the way that she's going home. So it's been quite an interesting week, isn't it? Football, Queen, Coronation Street, Kate's COVID, you know, NHS birthday.
NHS birthday, yep, varied week.
There we are, right. Thanks for watching. We will, or listening, however you're getting this podcast. Remember, all of the pictures we've spoken about are on our Instagram site, ITV News Royals. You can always follow us on social media. I've even done a tweet with Chris Mezzi, the cameraman, in it, and why would you not want to see what he looks like in a suit after you've seen that shirt that he's wearing now? I've got to work with this afternoon and sit and edit with him in that shirt, so wish me luck. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.